The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Unalaska Fire and EMS Alaska, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 35947. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting at the front bumper, on the face center area, you'll find the PA speaker and electronic siren. As we move to the driver's side, you'll find on the face of the front bumper your mechanical siren. Moving up onto the outer edges, we do have some warning placard information. We'll go over those in just a few moments. I'd also like to point out that you do have a D-handle gains access into the front tubbed storage location for hose storage. Also a swivel 1.5-inch discharge located on the driver's side. Let's move up onto the cab itself. On the outer edges, you'll find turn indicator marker lights. Just inside that location, you'll find your headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. The high beam will be located on the inside. As we move up, you'll find the emergency warning light cluster. Just above that, you'll find grab handles for gaining access to the windshield area. As we move to the outer edge, you'll find your mirror housing a flat and convex mirror. Moving up to the brow is where you'll find your forward-facing floodlight. Incorporated in that, you'll find your clearance ID lights. Moving up to the top, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Let's take a look at some close-ups of those items we just talked about. First, that front bumper extension where you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. Let's take a look at the warning placards. Because these items do move while placement of the cab, we do have some warning placards here regarding pinch and crush hazard. Also, you'll find dry deck material in that front bumper location for your hose load. And as we move all the way to the right in the image, you'll find the front discharge swivel 1.5 inches. General view here of the front bumper extension. Let's go ahead and go outside, take a look at some of the items here. First, starting with a full side view of the apparatus, and we'll focus now in on the cab section. Let's start first at the cab section on the side-facing emergency warning light on the front bumper extension. You'll also find we have a couple items within this area. First, an airline inlet and outlet, and then also an auto eject plug. I've got a close-up of those. We'll show those in just a few moments. As we move up, you'll find your latch here. They are keyed for your door handle, and then also you'll find a recessed grab handle for gaining access in and out of the cab. As we move up to the very top section of the roof line, you're going to find a side-facing scene light. Let's take a look at the wheel assembly. You have steel wheels, Goodyear tires, and also a visual sight gauge in the axle area. And we'll move now to the body section, first identifying the emergency warning lights in the lower zone. As we move to the very rear section of the rear axle, it's where you'll find your wheel chocks. And as we move around to the rear section, you'll find marker indicator lights. As we move through some of these lights here, you'll find emergency light, brake, turn, and reverse light. Moving up from that location, you'll find scene lights and also emergency warning lights located at the rear. As we move to the very center section, this is your backup camera. Let's take a general look here at the side on the passenger side of the area. We had a little bit of snow in this area. And we'll move now to the body section. Same configuration and layout for the most part as you'll find on the driver's side as you do on the passenger side. As we move to the front cab area, same configuration and layout. The difference here is we do have an air inlet. Let's move inside the cab area, first starting with the driver's side door panel. Affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placards, door lock and latch, also manual window controls, and a grab handle. As we move down to the step area, you'll find that air inlet, also an air shutoff, open and close for an air outlet. Also a Shoreline auto eject plug, 20 amp. Let's move inside the cab area at the base of the floor. And we'll start first at the pedestal area where you'll find your auto charge status center. When plugged into shore power, that will be active. At about the right ankle of the operator, you'll find this yellow placard. For your department, it has the date of manufacture, the 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, and cold tire inflation, VIN number, all of the fluid capacities for each component, fluid capacity, and fluid type. As we move to about the left knee of the operator, you'll find the red master battery switch. It's a quarter turn. As we move down, we're going to find engine, transmission, ABS diagnostic ports, display port, and a tech module port. You'll find also some switches here, your regen inhibit, DPF regen, and then also ABS diagnostics and engine diagnostics. As we move to the opposite side of the steering column, you'll find your pump shift. We have instructions here from road to pump, and then also from pump to road. Just as a reminder, you need 2 green indicators, pump engaged and OK to pump, for pump operations prior to exiting the cab. As we move to the furthest point on the right side of the steering column, you're going to find your OK to engage your high idle indicator and also switch, and then also an indication here whether your differential interaxle is locked. As we move to the left side of the dash, you'll find your 4-way flashers or hazard lights, also start and ignition switch. Little switch labeled EM, which stands for Emergency Master. This will engage and disengage all emergency lights. Also headlight and panel switch, allowing you to brighten and dim lights within preview of the operator. Once again, the OK to engage your high idle indicator. As we look to the gauges, you're going to find your transmission, oil, depth level, and water temp. On the right side of the cluster, we're going to find your volts, fuel, front air, and rear air with your tachometer and speedometer located in the center. Diagnostic information will display above and below the speedometer. Difficult to see in this image here. This is your pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. It's the yellow diamond. You also have steering controls on the steering wheel itself for emergency lights, air horn, and also windshield wiper control. Let's move just to the right of the operator. Once again, just outside of this image was your system parking brake. It's the yellow diamond. But we also have your Pierce command zone. It's a display screen with a tremendous amount of information right at your fingertips. See your owner's manual for more information. We have some switches here for the aerial master, aerial PTO, stabilizer placement cameras, also rung lights, mechanical siren, basket warning, perimeter lights, and load manager. Let's move down from this location where you'll find your engine brake on and off switch. You'll also find a setting switch for that engine brake for low, medium, and high, mirror heat, off-road traction, and a protected switch, which is your tire chains. We do have a note here also, pump and drive, and some caution placards regarding your retarder, disengage, and also tire chains not exceeding 25 miles an hour. We have some USB ports located here for 12 volt and also convex and flat mirror control. Siren control and PA control module also. As we move further down, you'll find your heat control and defrost. Let's move just to the right of this location, general view here of the inside cab area. And then let's go back overhead of the operator. You'll find this yellow placard indicating the height of your vehicle, 10 feet 9 inches. The length of the vehicle, 43 feet 9 inches. Gross vehicle weight rating, 78,000 pounds. If you make any adjustments or changes, please update this placard. Also, we have Emergency Master, roof light, front warning, and side warning. The next section down, we have lower rear warning, upper rear warning, high beam flash. When any of these lights have activated, they'll illuminate green around the outer edge. Let's move to the next switch panel. As we have our driver's side scene, front scene, passenger side scene, and rear scene. Once again, when they have been depressed, they will illuminate green around the outer edge, indicating the switch is active and on. Let's move further to the right in the same plane area where you'll find your information center regarding seatbelt, red indicating someone is in the seat and not belted, green, they're in the seat and belted. Also your FireCom module regarding squelch for the remote intercom. And then in the very center, you'll find your do not move your apparatus. If this light's flashing, you may have a compartment door open. General view inside, you have push on and off white or red lenses for lights in the cab area. As we move to the rear section of the cab, once again, affixed to the door panel is where we're going to find all of our safety and warning placards, door lock and latch, and also grab handle, manual window controls, and also a grab bar. As we move inside, you'll find the 2 rear-facing seats. These do house SCBAs, in addition with some additional compartment space. You can see here we have a compartment light with some headsets in it and netting. In the very center, you'll find the access point for your daily checks for oil and transmission. On the very top, we have 3 orange light boxes, 12 volt. And then as we move just to the side, you'll see this vertical outlet. This is when plugged into shoreline power, this will be active. Also encased, you'll find your air compressor. Once again, plugged into shore power, this will become active. Let's take a quick look around the back section here. This is directly behind the officer seat where we have a shoreline outlet powering that light, our power strip. As we move to the rear wall, you have an additional SCBA bracket and also forward-facing seats which also house SCBA brackets. Orange LED 12-volt light box, and then on the opposite side you'll find EMS compartment with netting and also LED lighting and adjustable shelves. On the pedestal area you do have access underneath for additional storage. And then just a quick few more images here just around inside the rear section of the cab area. Let's go ahead and move from this location to the exterior cab, where you'll find at the rear wall additional pan door for storage. We have in this compartment storage location and also tubes for pike poles. Let's start now with the general view here of the pump panel. There are two locations for hose storage, an upper and lower, and then we'll go ahead and start with the pump panel. This is your pressure throttle governor. You also have incorporated in that a water level indicator. It's the blue module in the center. As we move to the right in the gray area, you'll find your master intake. Just to the right of that, you'll find your master discharge. In between the two of those, master intake and master discharge, is where you'll find the test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. They're currently plugged, and these are for testing purposes. As we move down, we do have a auto air prime. We do have it in a auto mode, off, and prime mode, with also a gauge located in the center. For best practices, 1000 RPMs. Discharges for cross lane number 1 and the number 1 right side discharge. Not only are they color coded, but they're also labeled. As we move further to the right, you'll find at the very top section a warning placard indicating entanglement hazard. Because of those lines, there is the possibility of entanglement. As we move across, we have some wheel valves here. This is for your large diameter discharge and then aerial discharge. Moving to the right, you'll find the number 2 crosslay and the front discharge. In between those, you're going to find this black speaker. The outer edge of that bezel does allow you to rotate to dampen the sound. Let's move just to the right of this location, where we'll find the crosslays for the front discharge also, and number 1 left side discharge. At the very top section, you'll find your tank to pump and also tank refill and recirculating line. As we move down, you'll find your engine cooler. That's a twist, not a pull. And then to the right, you'll find the minimum operation maintenance schedule. And then all the way to the very far, you'll find the 2.5-inch discharge. It's the number 1 left side discharge. Let's move further down on the pump panel, identify a few more items. First, let's start with this red placard. It's the Watrous placard, indicating the type of capacity of pump that you have, which is 2000 GPM. Also a warning placard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. Your 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet, locally controlled via ball valve, left side. As we move down, we do have a danger placard here. The vehicle ladder is not insulated, and therefore we have a danger placard indicating that. Also, you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. And then also, again, we mentioned the number 1 discharge, but just underneath that, you'll find the main pump drain just on the lower right corner. Let's go ahead and take a look down at the step area. This does pull out and then fold to the open position for a larger surface area. As we move to the side of the vertical surface, you're going to find a warning placard indicating only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and that's only after proper training. We do have you engage your pump properly. You'll find an OK to pump green indicator. And also at the very bottom section, this is that minimum operation maintenance schedule. We'll come back to that in just a moment in the next image. We do have 2 electronic valves. These are going to control on the passenger side, and we'll go over those in just a moment. This is your Watrous placard indicating capacity 2000 GPM. Also, we had this placard. This is your minimum operation maintenance schedule for 150, 200, and 250 PSI. On the left, associated test pressures for GPM, and on the right, the associated RPM for test pressures at 150, 200, and 250 PSI. Govern speed 2130. As we move now just to the rear of the truck, we'll start working around the rest of the compartments. We do have a drop-down ladder and also some warning placards in the uppermost corner of that drop-down ladder. when you're climbing onto the vehicle, always face the vehicle when climbing on or off. As we move to the next compartment back, this is a pan door. This is going to be for all of your overrides. On the side of the door panel, you're going to have warning and placard information. You'll also have some danger placard and warning placards. What I want to point out is the gray areas controlling the ladder portion for overrides. The lower green and blue section is controlling your outriggers. Once again, see the owner's manual for more information on those. As we look over the outrigger area, you'll find a visual camera. This displays inside the cab area, and then also a placard. Because that moves in and out, there is the possibility of crush hazard. As we move further back in the first compartment, you'll find a pull-out tray on the bottom section. Release is located on the lower right. In this compartment is also the control module for the Master Stream device. Let's go ahead and move through a few more of the compartments on this side of the truck, where you'll find a DEF level indicator. This is for your 4.5 US gallon DEF tank. It's the blue cap, and then also an SCBA bottle storage location in the upper corner. This is that warning placard I mentioned, electrocution hazard. Equipment is not insulated. As we move through the next compartments, we do have SCBA bottle storage with retaining straps in between the two axles. As we move down, you do have a tandem axle. Once again, Goodyear tires and steel wheels. Moving back up now, we have an additional bottle storage location, and this is to the rear of the axle, where you'll find the ultra low sulfur diesel, which is your silver cap. Let's go ahead and take a look in some of those compartments. We have two tool boards. D-handle gains you access to each of those. Once they're in the open position, they will lock into place. There is a release on the back side. Toolbox in the lower compartment, and also some power outlets in the upper corner. When plugged into shore power, once again, these become active. Let's move directly to the bottom section behind the rear axle, is where you're going to find your wheel chocks. And then as we move to the very back section, adjustable shelving and also LED lighting. Moving around to the rear of the truck, we've got the ladders deployed and the roll-up compartment door closed. And now we have it in the open position just for a visual. Let's go ahead and take a look in the ladder section. We do have some warning placards here. Once again, when climbing on a vehicle, always face the vehicle. As we look to the control module here, you'll find the emergency stop push button, an override, and also stabilizer enable. This is a remote, allows you to pull it away from the truck area, and you'll find on here your outrigger controls and then also indicators for its operation. To the right, just as a reminder, we do have an aerial stability hazard. This is applying to short jacking on any side of operation. Also, you'll find your emergency light, brake, turn, and also reverse light. Also, just to point out, we do have some anchor points located back here. Remember, direct pull and not upward. As we move downward, you'll find the left to right inclinometer. As we look inside the ladder storage location, you'll find all of your ladders with also identifiers down at the very bottom. 35-foot 2 section, 20-foot roof, 28-foot 2 section, and a 10-foot folding. Also some pike poles here, 2/8s and 2/12s. Another quick image here. We also have an entire pull-out tray here for tool and hose, and also a tool board. In the underneath section, additional storage location on the pan door inside the compartmented area. As we move to the upper corner, I would like to point out this entanglement hazard because of the hose coming from a loft. That's why we have the entanglement hazard. Additional compartment here housing a headset. This is wireless, although it's being charged in the compartment. Once again, fall hazard, never ride on the vehicle while it's in motion, and also face the ladder while climbing on it. Once again, on those attachment points, anchor failure issue here, always pull in a direct line. Hose bed lights, these will engage and disengage the lights within the hose bed area. As we move to the outer edge, once again, danger, electrocution hazard, equipment is not insulated. As we move around now to the passenger side, we're going to move through all of the compartments here. We do have some additional crush injury warning on those outrigger stabilizers. And then as we move through, adjustable shelving and LED lighting. We do have 2 sections to the rear of the axle for SCBA bottle storage for retaining, and then 3 in between the two with retaining straps also. As we move to the forward area, you have an additional single bottle storage. And then this is important, I'd like to point out, extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist. Please be careful where you park your vehicle. Once again, as we move through those midsection stabilizers, we're going to find at the very top section your stabilizer camera. Also, once again, this is movement, so there is a warning here regarding crush injury, emergency warning light just underneath that. As we move forward, this is the visual indicator for your hydraulic level. And then as we move to the bottom section, you'll find all of our labeled drains. And then just another close-up here now of the forward section where you'll find your cab lift. As we look inside this compartment, you do have instructions for raise and lower. It's a protected switch and also an activate switch. As we move forward to the passenger side pump panel, let's take a quick look at that. We do have the two crosslays, same configuration with those crosslays on the driver's side. Let's go ahead and go through some of the valves on this side. First, we do have those two electric valves located on here, the TFTs, controlled from the driver's side. We do have a warning regarding pressure hazard. Be cautious when opening caps, and then also a 2.5-inch discharge located on this side also. As we move down to the lower section forward, you'll find an additional TFT valve. These are electronically controlled. And as we look down, we'll find the aerial inlet outlet. It's the American flag Pierce Eagle logo. And then just to the right, your large diameter passenger side discharge. That's the green discharge. All of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. As we move to the running board, you do have an additional storage location here for hose with dry deck material. Just another quick general view here of the pump area. And then just to the cab section, you'll find the access for your pike poles that run across wide. Also, as we look to the rear section of the cab, you'll find once again recessed door grab handles inside, affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placards, door lock and latch, manual window control, and a grab handle. In the center section, you have your headset hangers, and then also push on and off white or red lenses. Storage compartment here on the passenger side, two seats close nestled into the center area. As we move to the exterior, this is the air inlet for your engine, just into the rear section of that grab handle. Let's go ahead and move now into the officer's passenger space. Let's go ahead and move to the door panel. Once again, warning placards, door lock and latch, manual window controls. As we look inside to the A pillar is where you'll find the fill location for your windshield wiper fluid, also a glove box and grab handle. Quick look to the left of the officer's position. We have a couple of buttons located at the very top section. Let's go ahead and review some of those, along with some 12-volt access. Siren, brake, and mechanical siren, vehicle data recording port. Overhead, push on and off white and red lens lights. Let's go ahead through some of the switching panels. First, starting with the switch panel, where you'll find the driver's scene, front scene, passenger side scene, and rear scene. Next, switching panel over, we're going to start with emergency lights. We're going to find the emergency master, roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, upper rear warning, and high beam flash. As we move just to the left of this location, we have a couple more modules. Let's first start with your AM/FM, Bluetooth, CD player, and weather band radio. Also on the ceiling portion, you're going to find your Firecom wireless base station. Let's go ahead and move underneath. These are going to be the tow locations for towing the vehicle. The next set of images, quite a few images here, are going to be of the undercarriage area for your own personal references. Alright, let's go ahead and start now with some of the ladder functions here. Let's first start with your access location, the very top section for the control of your aerial device. Let's start at the very top section. You have a intercom system, push to talk, and volume control. Also, as we move to that pedestal, you'll find an emergency stop button. Moving just to the right, you'll find emergency hydraulic power. Also, the aerial speed switch, which is either normal or in fast position. And then a protected switch here, which is your aerial manual control. And then just to the right, you'll find a manual basket leveling disable. As we move down, you're going to find all of our lighting for tip lights and tracking lights, under basket lights, and also side basket lights. Moving further down into the next set of switches, you're going to find your nozzle control for open and close. There is a green and red indicator indicating open or close. And then also control for the stream, fog, or straight stream, right and left, and raise and lower. Let's move down on this same panel here where you'll find your Pierce command zone. Tremendous amount of information right here at the fingertips. And then also just beneath that, you can utilize a gloved hand through those home buttons. But also down below, you'll find ladder control for extend, retract, right, left, and lower and raise. On the hood of this, or I should say the lid of this, you'll find all of our information regarding the Ascendant Ladder aerial load chart. This is designed for 2,000 GPM waterway at a 35-mile-an-hour wind condition. This is waterway dry. Those are the captured numbers, and then waterway charged. We also have monitor nozzle positions regarding those flow rates. As we move down, this is really important for you guys. There is some asterisk information here regarding loads in freezing conditions. You'll also find additional warning and danger placards located on the lid of this device also. As we move through, because the aerial ladder does move, we do have pinch warning indications throughout the location of the aerial ladder. This is what they look like here in the uppermost top section of the aerial. You are standing right next to that device as it is in operation. Let's move to the cab area where you'll find additional warning. This is a non-walking surface. It's extremely slippery and there are no guards. Also in the forward section, you'll also find side-facing floodlights on the upper portion of the cab. That's once again why we have these placarded information regarding fall hazard. As we look to the ladder itself, you'll find 4-section ladder, and then also you'll find a roof ladder on the interfly. Also on the interfly, you're going to find a position here for a long-handled tool. As we move to the outer edges, we're going to find additional mounting brackets and also some saw boxes on the passenger and driver side. Those saw boxes do have a weight limit of 25 pounds in each of those boxes. Let's take a look inside where you're going to find additional lighting inside the saw box that you can see at nighttime. And also D-handle gains you access into those locations. Let's go ahead and move now to the bucket area. Quick aerial view of the aerial bucket. Just kind of a top view here. Let's move to the control module as I zoom in just a little bit closer. We do have a cover protecting those items, but let's start on the left with the emergency stop push button. Also, as we move down on the control module panel, you're going to find an aerial speed, once again, fast or normal, and then also basket leveling. We've got a protected switch here for enable and disable, up or down. And then also right here at our fingertips, we're going to have our command zone information. Once again, you can use this with the gloved hand touchscreen or through the home buttons. Moving just to the right, we're going to find aerial ladder control, extend, retract, right and left, and lower and raise. As we move further to the right, we have some additional switches here. First, we have tip lights and under basket lights. Moving down, we're going to find nozzle control for open and close. Green and red lights indicate where that position, and also stream positions. As we move to the actual inside area, we're going to find a variety of different warning and placarded information. This happens to be for the life ladder, life rappelling, and also life support. These are warning placards here. Please familiarize yourself with those if you're using that system. You do have an intercom that is passive with volume control. And once again, we have an additional placard located here regarding all of your weight capacities while you're flowing water or not flowing water. Additional storage location here. Once again, as we go back to the Ascendant load chart, you can see once again waterway dry, waterway charged, and then also nozzle positions. Quick warning label here, only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and that's only after proper training. As we look through the section here, you'll find your nozzle, and then just a quick look backwards. You can see the two saw boxes on the outside. As we look over the edge, you'll find a top fill water tank fill location. And we're going to go back outside here because I've got some images here of the truck with the compartments in the open position. Same thing with the rear. And then we'll move around now to the passenger side. I have some additional images here with the stabilizers set, just to give you an idea of the spread distances. We'll go ahead and take a look. This is a ladder up, so we're gaining access to the dunnage area and water tank fill location. There are some yellow diamonds here indicating the walking surface or edge of the walking surface for your safety. We're going to go ahead and close out now with a video with your emergency warning lights on as we do a 360-degree walk around. Congratulations, Unalaska Fire EMS Alaska, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 35947. If you have any questions, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.